told you? Who told you? Who told you? You what? God design, God design.
What's the deal, more buddies? We back. Live in the action.
What's going on?
What's the deal, y'all? Just like we promised, we doing the live appraisals. Welcome to the Boerboel Show. I'm your host, Jordan Pittman. Got my buddy, my main man, Trez with Man Down Kennels. What's going on, Trez? How we doing today, family?
Not much, like clockwork, 7 p.m. every Monday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So listen, we're buddies. We got a couple things to work out with you all. We're going to do the live appraisals. Remember why we're doing this. First of all, we want to talk to y'all about this, so we give you some brief history. We are having a transparent appraisal process with the United Boerboel Club. Everything that we are doing is upfront and on the table. We are providing real data stats for you to use in your breeding program to help you assess your dogs. We are going to provide records, visual records, recorded data, so you can see for yourself and apply these situations to your breeding program. That's what this is all about. Once you become a member of the club, then you can register. Hold on, let me like this Instagram going. Get this Instagram going on Instagram. And once you become a member, you can register. This is how you register. There's a link included in the description of this video. You sign up. We'll walk you through that process real quick so you can just see. You enter your pedigree information, you enter your dog's name, you enter your information, 2 pictures, then you set up for the appraisal. This appraisal is a visual inspection. It's a visual evaluation. We're looking for confirmation. We're looking for virtues, assets, things that are desirable in the breeding program. What makes your dog impressive? The appearance. So we are calculating these virtues and assets, and then we're going to give them a visual score. This score is on a scale of 1 to 10, but it can go up to 25. And in situations where there are exaggerations and extremes for those varieties, we're going to rate the dog on 11 different points from 1 to 10 up to 25. And we also want to, so that's the appraisal process. There's other components, but we're just going to talk about the appraisal process right now. So today we're going to open up. We're going to do this with Bonafide Cairo, one of the top dogs in the Boerboel breed history, modern history. This dog had one of the top 3 hip and elbow scores in the breed.
Rest in peace.
He was an active working dog. He did protection work. He was a civil dog where he lived in a family situation. He passed on his traits. He was a natural breeder. He passed on some very valuable assets time and time again. Very great contributor to the breed. If you don't know, this is what he looked like. And we'll just show you a picture. So you want to submit a picture of your dog standing front and sideways, and some videos. Here's Cairo here. And really just a very impressive dog. Great working dog, big, strong, powerful dog. No, he's not perfect. No dog is, but he has some very positive features, traits, and attributes. And I think that he was a very valuable contributor. So we're going to go over the appraisal. Trez, is there anything that you want to say before we get started?
Yeah, no, let's go ahead and dig in. I mean, we got what do we got? About 11 different categories. Each category, like you said, 0 to 10 points, and then for any extreme features or very high attributes that we feel should get noticed, they can get an additional 1 to 15 points. So go ahead and jump in it.
Okay. So like I said, this is Cairo. We showed the picture. Let's take a look at the video. I got a video of Cairo here for everyone to see. Let's show them. Yeah, I mean, Cairo had it all. Very, very impressive Boerboel, in my opinion. You know, and me personally, I'm always looking at the totality of the dog. Not only is he visually impressive, but I'm looking at his abilities, his performance also. Remember, I'm reading for the complete Boerboel. That's my goal. So I thought that this dog has some very valuable assets to the breed. And then let's take a look at the video. We're gonna keep this playing back and forth so we can see. Okay, here we go. So this is Cairo right here working on a weight pull harness. Let's start. Let's start it off. What we starting off with the head?
General appearance.
General
So
appearance.
that, you know, when you first take a look at a dog, right? When you first see the dog, you know, do they have that wow factor, right? And with me, I mean, he definitely had that wow factor. Anyone that's seen him, you know, he was a big dog, right? But I would say about a medium-sized Boerboel. However, he had that wow factor. Beautiful headpiece, beautiful color, striking features. I mean, he had heavy muscle tone, big, beautiful chest. He had these piercing eyes that kind of reminded me of, you know, like a lion out in the Sahara. So, I mean, on that side, I'll give him a 10 plus. So,
yeah, Cairo was extremely impressive. Well, I mean, when you first pulled up with him, his head hanging out the window, I mean, that giant Chababa head. You know, I have my own stud dog on premises at the same time. But when you just pop out with that dog, I'm gonna rate that appearance. I'm gonna go high on that one as an 18. I really feel like that dog was impressive. He was large, big boned, and man, the way that head and neck, chest, and shoulders, I feel like, you know, he deserved a couple extra points on that. This dog was like a freak of nature. When you're talking about Boerboel, this dog really speaks to you. I mean, he's something different.
for sure. So, and when I say 10 plus, so we'll go 10 on the regular and I give him another 5. So we'll go ahead and meet at the middle. What you say, about 16 sounds right?
16, yeah, I could go 16 for sure. He definitely deserves some extra points in terms of appearance. I mean,
For sure.
you got to give it to him. He was an extreme specimen.
For sure. All right. I sent you another picture. I don't know if that's one of the pictures that he kind of went viral on. I know it might take you a minute to upload that, Jordan, but if you can at some point, I think it'd be really nice for everyone to see.
Okay, I'll get it uploaded.
Yeah. But with that being said, I mean, we're gonna move straight into head. As you all know, right? I mean, the head is one of the most, I wouldn't say most important, but is one of the biggest attributes to the breed as far as, I mean, the Boerboel head is very distinctive, right? Doesn't look like any other breed. And if you got that perfect head type in a Boerboel, someone can notice that dog that knows the breed from miles away.
Right.
With that being said, I mean, this boy had, what would you say, maybe a 28 plus inch head on a 25 and a half, 26 inch, height. I'd say 25 and a half inch height. That's pretty impressive. I mean, everything from the stop to the muzzle, perfect muzzle. I mean, it was very nice and squared, compact. The muzzle wasn't too houndish or anything like that. So off the bat on that at a 25, I mean, I'm gonna have to give him a 20.
I was gonna say 20. I was definitely gonna give him a 20 because when we refer to the standard, the head is supposed to be an impressive, distinctive feature, should be blocky, broad, deep, and muscular, well-filled cheeks in proportion to the body. And I think that not only was it in very well proportioned, but it was extremely large. And he was just a great representation of the head. Very good representation of the head. I definitely think that he deserved a 20. Let me ask you though. I can't really see much wrong with his head when you're talking about a head of a Boerboel. I mean, it doesn't really get much more impressive than what the Cairo brought to the table.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would do, if you're critiquing, I mean, and we're kind of putting, the full head, right? So we're including the lips, the ear set, all that fun stuff, for the United Boerboel Club. So the only thing I can, basically critique him in is I would say his lips could have been a little bit tighter.
Right.
Other than that, every once in a while, his ears laid, they perked up a little bit. But aside from that, I mean, he had the beautiful cheekbones, the jawline, all that. I mean, and that's one thing that I'll say that, there's certain dogs that are throwing nowadays, or, they have these features where they have the smaller jaw, where it's a little narrow. And
Right.
then also, so they lack that. And then also they don't have that head type, right? Especially specifically in males, I've noticed. And obviously it's certain lines and all of that, but I mean, especially when it comes to being a male, I mean, that's one of the big features in being able to tell, a male from a female. Boerboel. So
Definitely. And you're talking about imposing figure of strength, something that's going to give you the appearance of an intimidation factor. I think that he checks on all boxes on that in regard. Jaws are strong, deep, wide. I mean, he definitely was hitting on those points. I think that he was an asset to the breed. Any breeding program could value a head like Cairo. You can find a place in your program for that head. I think that it definitely was an asset. And then if you look at what he passed on, I mean, come on now, he was just giving it up left and right. We got several different examples of his off progeny. So I would definitely agree with that at 20.
Man, Jordan, go ahead and get that picture out with him on top of that line. Everybody wants to see that head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me see here. I got to send it to my email. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and move on while you're working on that. But next we got movement.
Okay. So movement.
I think we got another video of his movement. Did you get a chance to upload that one?
Let's see. Okay. Here comes the picture of the head.
Okay, cool.
But in terms of movement, I think, yeah, he definitely. I don't see any reason to discount his movement.
For sure.
What you think?
I mean, very fluid. Had buoyancy to him. He there was no stiffness in the joints. Anything like that. So I mean, I'll give him 1 through 10. I'll give him a 10.
Yeah, 10. I definitely would go with a 10. The movement was fluid. If you see him pulling, I mean, you see he's got power. Definitely, he's employing those back legs. He's got that explosion in the rear. He's driving home. He digs his head down in deep, and he really gets into that pull. I like to see that in a dog, where he's kind of like getting into it and just putting his power forward. Let me see. I got a video. I also have a video of him running too. Let me see. Do this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this dog, he excelled at so much stuff. I mean, I put a lot of work into him. Got him from Andre down in Bonafide back when he was, I believe, about 7 weeks old, and had him potty trained by the time he was 9 weeks, fully potty trained. In addition to that, getting him on that, get him on that rag and starting to bite and all that, and teaching him, tug of war, and then you transition them to, the soft bite sleeve and all that fun stuff. So definitely a great journey. He's definitely going down in history. Hopefully one day I can recreate him.
Yeah, I really wish we would have had an opportunity to put that semen on ice. Here's the video of the head again, for visual reference, so we can have that documented. I mean, a very impressive head. If you see him, I mean, come on now. He's got the big, broad, blocky skull, well filled in, muscular cheeks. You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
And this is him at full grown. I think the other videos you were showing was him kind of like more pre-teen, but yeah. Yeah, man.
So movement. I'm gonna go with the. I could agree with you on the 10. I don't think that he had any structural defects when it comes to movement. I don't think that there was anything, no drawbacks. There was no defects when it comes to his movement. He was very fluid with his movement. It was a definitely representation of power. He was, back legs to front legs.
For sure.
There's so much to like about that dog.
For sure. So next, we're gonna get into bone. I'll say with Cairo, I'll say he's about medium-sized bone. 1 out of 10. I'll give him a 6.
I was gonna say 8.
8, okay.
Yeah.
Meet in the middle at 7.
7, that's good. Yeah, 7 is good because it wasn't exaggerated. It wasn't extremely large bone,
but it wasn't fair either. You know what I mean?
No, it was perfect for his size, for his body.
For sure. So we're gonna go ahead and get into rear thickness. Bringing back a story from one of the things that I know that you mentioned when you first seen him, when I believe he was probably about 13, 14 months, something like that. And that's one of the key things that stuck out to you. And one of the things I didn't really pay attention to, this is back in probably 2016, 17, something like that, as much was the rear thickness. He definitely had that muscle definition. There was no weak signs in his rear. So if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, the rear should be very thick. The rump should be muscular. It should be strong. I'll go to the standard so we can give. The hind quarter is 30, muscular. Hind legs are strong boned. The stifle should be sound, strong, moderately angulated and balanced with the 4 quarters. So that means that he should be square and in the back. The back legs should be parallel when they touch the ground, not easty, westy, or cowhawk. I think that he definitely had that. He was really nice and powerful in his rear end and the hind quarters. The lower thigh
no easty, westy, or what you say cowhawk in the back.
Right, no easty, westy, no cowhawk in the back. He was broad, short, perfectly upright. Hind feet was pointing straight forward. He didn't have any rear dew claws. So I think that's a justified score.
Yeah. I'll say for the rear thickness, I'll give him so we said bone 7, rear thickness, I'll give him an 8, 1 out of 10.
Oh, 8. Yeah, okay, 8. I'm gonna go with that's what I thought I had said that 8.
Yeah, we got 8. Oh, my fault. I didn't hear you.
All
okay.
Right, yeah.
With every great dog, they have their faults, right? This is one of the biggest things that I wanted to touch down on is this is for everybody, right? When you have a breeding program, you have a dog, right? That if you haven't bred yet, right, you put 2 dogs together that complement each other. Sometimes there's certain dogs, that you select or don't select based off of maybe their faults are too bad, or maybe they don't have strong enough attributes in other areas. You see what I mean? To where you don't want to include it in your program because, they have too many flaws or they don't have other things that can bring value to the program. But I'll say one of Cairo's faults is his angulation. So, his back end, his rear is a little bit higher. He was, I wouldn't say overdone in front, but I would say he is a little more heavier in the front, which had his rear obviously go a little bit up higher. And then he didn't have that angulation in the back. So for that reason, and when we're referring to that, we're talking about the bend in the knee.
Right.
So I would give him a 4 on that, on angulation.
That's fair. I was gonna say 6, but yeah, we can go with the 5. How about that?
Go with the 5. Sounds good.
Yeah. And this show for visual reference. This is what we're speaking of when we're talking about straight in the rear. You see how his knee is going straight up and down. That is not so desirable. We want to see some curve in the knee. So, but you can see the power in the back. You see the thickness, but like you said, he's straight up and down because of the heavier front end. You know, the excessive chest, the muscling around the shoulder, cause him to dip a little bit. So yes, I think that what you say? What did we say? 5 or 6?
I'll say a 4.
Yeah. Okay. I say 5. How about that?
5. Okay, we'll go 4.5. Cool.
Yeah, 4.5. Yeah, and that's based off that rear angulation. That's really something that they talked about in the breed standard across the board. They want to see this angulation in the rear. We were trying to breed. That's something that we definitely want to take into consideration.
And I think with breeding him, I mean, I would say, you know, a lot of the females that you put him to, I think they had that angulation. So, I mean, that was a big thing that you focused on, right? You looked at his, you know, couple of faults, but then you also looked at his powerful points and, you know, match your females up accordingly, because, I mean, you were the first one that I, you know, did business with as far as studying him out. So.
Yeah, and for me as a breeder, I overlooked because of the extreme value that he had with the, you know, the muscling, the power, the head, the neck, the impressive physique. You know, it made it easy to overlook those shortcomings in terms of the rear and the slightly elevated angulation. In my breeding program, structure has always been a foundation. So, you know, I was willing to compromise a little bit of that based off of what I had already had. So,
let alone that temperament too, you know, which is a big part. I know we can't on these online appraisals. It's kind of hard to, you know, go into the temperament because, I mean, obviously we're not seeing the dog in person. And then our opinion, you know, I know we touched base on this, is not to get off subject, but, you know, as far as the temperament goes, I feel like there's a various amount of tests that you have to do in order to see the true temperament of a dog. And I know we were kind of touching base on that, Jordan. I don't know if you want to elaborate, not to get off track, but I mean, it's kind of hard to evaluate that from the standpoint that we're in.
Yeah, I think, you know, the temperament, exactly like you said. I mean, you hit it square on the head. You can't really assess a dog's temperament without putting him into some type of situation, visual situation where, you know, you're putting obstacles, a foreign or well-known. You may want to present a stranger, somebody that seems suspect individual, because remember, we're supposed to have some guardians, some protection instincts, and the dog should be stable. He's not a Boerboel. Proper Boerboel is not a vicious, snarling, growling guard dog, you know, that's trying to bite everyone. You can't really tell that on an individual scale. You have to be able to present the dog into a public setting to really be able to assess the proper temperament of a Boerboel. That's almost impossible to do online.
Yep, for sure.
All right.
So, yeah, so going forward, what's that?
I do got another picture. For visual reference. Here's another one just to show that extreme muscling, the rear angulation that we talked about, the fault, see how he's going straight up and down, the top line, see how he sags it just a little bit. But then, you know, I'm willing to compromise that for this impressive physique. Look at the muscling, look at the loins. You know how you see that muscle around the rib cage, very prominent. So I was willing to compromise that.
And we look at Jordan, if you look at Joku and you look at Debo, right? They're both sons from him, right? I believe they were from different litters or the same?
Different litters.
Different litters, right? The moms were from similar lines, right? But if you look at, they both were, I mean, they're pretty correct. You know what I mean? So the female that you put them to, I mean, pretty much, I'd say offset those faults that were in Cairo, and I mean, there's some beautiful beasts. So,
you're right. And when you're talking about dogs, when you're talking about breeding dogs, and you're looking at it from, you know, what you're trying to add, what are you trying to improve? You got to consider what are you already working with.
For sure.
What's the next point?
Yeah. So next we got feet. So on the feet aspect, right, you got a couple of things that you're looking at. So you got the actual feet itself, right? Normally you want them to be cubed, and kind of those neat cat feet, right? So the actual paw itself. You want all the toes for the most part to be pretty much boxed, as far as you don't want the two middle toes to be real long, almost like a retriever, or you see what I mean? Or some dogs, different mutts that you've seen, to where they may have two longer toes in the middle, and then they kind of come like a human hand, right? Like you don't want that. So that's what's up.
Well, I like to describe, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I like to describe it as you like to see those feet balled up like a fist.
Yep.
You want to see those pads well padded, and you want to, this is the ideal way for the Boerboel's feet to be nice and tight, and where they stab straight down into the ground, and it's like, he's standing up on stilts. You want them stabbing straight down into the ground, and their feet nice and tight around the toes. You don't want them webbed out, spread it out, splayed.
Yeah. So that's one part of the feet, right? When we're judging. But then also you got, the pasterns, right? So the pasterns you want to be straight up and down, and then you want it to go directly into the paw. And so instead of being weak and, easty westy, as I had said, you want the arm, the forearm, to go straight up and down, straight into the paw, and then a tight paw. So we can go ahead and go on that.
Right. So I wish I could. Let me see. There's no way I can show, but the pasterns is the point from the ankle down to the toes, in between the ankle, and it's like his wrists. So if you're looking at this picture, I mean, this is one of his obvious faults. I think it comes down from his father, where he easty westy in the front. I don't know how much that has to do with his front dew claws being removed. I don't know how much that has to do with his extremely front end, but we have to take the dog for his weight, what it's worth. At this, what we're looking at, the dog before our eyes. So I'm gonna go with a 3 on the feet.
I got 3 as well.
That's what you had?
Yep, 3.
Okay. Okay.
So
we want to be.
What's that?
I'm trying to be completely objective, even though we love this dog.
For sure. So the front, he had a beautiful front. That picture's kind of at an angle, but I mean, this dog really has. I mean, he really had a nice full chest, wide. I mean, he had the muscle all the way from the shoulders, to where you could see that angulation in the front, to where from the neck area down, he had that chest area, to where it came out. As tall as he was, as well as, as wide as he was. I mean, it was very symmetrical. So with that being said, on the front, not talking about the feet, I would probably give him a solid 7.
Solid 7. I was gonna give him a little bit of extra credit. I was gonna maybe like a 12. Comparing him to some of the greats. Like if you look at think about Cairo, the neck, the chest, the muscling, the way that it was very round, that barrel chest. I mean, he had that, that really impressive physique, extreme muscling, where it was this, very prominent. I thought that was great. I thought that I think that that was one of his best traits, was that chest.
We'll meet at 10 then.
Okay, 10. Now let's just compare him. What I mean by, if you look at Anton, one of the all-time greats, you can see where, if you look around the shoulder area, and then we go back to Cairo, or look at this one of my original dogs, Mo. You see how he had that muscling that's popping out. The neck is all popping out. The strength. Here goes Alpha. That shoulder, that muscle in the shoulder, and Cairo had all of that just naturally, without doing no exercise or nothing. Here's another one. Muscling in the front was definitely there. Shoulders powerful. Let's see what the standard has to say about the 4/4 Forelegs are strong bone with well-defined muscle. Viewed from the side, the forearm should be vertical from the elbow to the pastern. I think he had that. When viewed from the front, they should be parallel to each other, not bowed or toes turning inward or outward. Elbow should be held close to the body. Length of the foreleg is approximately 50% of the dog's height at the shoulder. Chest is broad, deep, and wide. He checks on all those boxes.
For sure, for sure. All right, let's get into this next one. We got height. Height for him, I say he's medium. So I'll give him a 1 out of 10. I'll give him 6. Give him 6.
6. Oh, yeah, I could agree with that. I was gonna say 7. 6. 6 is good though. 6.5.
All right, we got 6. Muscle. I mean, that's the last one we got, and I mean, hands down, you know, that boy, he was all the way muscled up. So I mean, I'm gonna give him. You got 1 out of 10 plus bonus points. I'm gonna give him a 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say 18, 15 to 18. I mean, Muslim, he had it naturally.
Yeah.
Like this was one of my favorite pictures here. I mean, it just shows that we don't really get to see the head, but it's not often where you see this powerfully developed loin, where there's muscles around the rib cage. And usually just a whole layer of thickness there. Look at the prominent muscles in the shoulders, the neck, the chest, the way that he's popping out, muscling throughout. Would you say 18?
Yeah, it's me at 18. That's it.
So okay, so this is a good point for us to go over right now. So again, these scores is not a percentage. This is a point system. We're not going off a percentage. We're going off of points. So let's tally it up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. You got a calculator on you?
Yeah, you know my mental math is like a calculator.
Okay, so we got 16 for general appearance.
Okay.
We got 20 for head. We got movement 10. Oh, you know, one that we didn't go over was structure, proportion, top line. I don't know how I forgot that one.
Oh yeah, that's an important one.
Yeah. Let's get that one. So for that, structure, proportion, top line. Proportion was really good. Top line was fair. Structure needed improvement. So I would say 1 out of 10. I'm gonna give him a 5.
5.
Yeah.
Let me just take another look. Yeah, I think you definitely hit it on the head when you start talking about his proportions. Because if you're talking about proportion, that's the height to the length ratio. I think that's almost ideal. But then you start getting into the
feet,
top line, where that was needed. Definitely a lot to be desired.
For sure.
And what was the other thing?
Well, you figure, you know, structures, you know, part of it, proportions, part of it, and then top line. So
yeah, the structure, when we're talking about the angulation in the rear, you know, we're looking at the totality of the dog, the angulation in the rear, the front feet, the back feet. So you know, that's a fair all the way around. But you know, you take the good, and you take the good and you take the bad with it. You know, you can't throw the whole dog away just based off of that.
For sure.
Let me see. Let me show that.
Next, we got bone. We had 7. So we had 5 for structure, proportion, top line. We had bone 7, rear thickness 8, rear angulation 4.5, feet 3, front 10, height 6, and muscling 18. So regular points. It's
so yeah, so that would be a total of 105.
105.
Yeah, 105.
That's it.
And I think that's a fair score because we're looking at the dog. I think when you start getting over 100, you start looking at a specimen. That's when you start talking about very valuable breeding stock. You know, anytime a dog scores over 100, you know, you got to take a look at that. He's got some really strong strengths and characteristics that we deem to be desirable. And you can always refer to this video. So we're gonna the next step after we do these appraisals like this, we post the video, we post the content, the video on the profile of the dog. So it's always there for reference when you want to go back and see why the dog scored. You can always go back to this video and then refer to the points. You can look at the dog, you can see what we saw. It's not shrouded in secrecy. This is not something that is like you leave so much to wonder about. Everything that we're doing is upfront and on the table. Transparency is the big part of what we got going on here because we want it to be fair for everyone that's involved. We want it to be educational so you can see. We want to give you tools that you can use.
For sure. I agree.
So yeah, board buddies, that pretty much wraps it up. That was a good 35 minutes. We went over the dog from head to toe. We're going to be doing this more. We're going to be perfecting this system. This is something that is evolving. This is very new. It's something that's never been done before like this, where it's up front and on the table, but we want to keep it involved with the audience. We want to be involved with the public, involved with the community. At the end of the day, we're putting the Boerboel on a big pedestal for everyone to see, and not just, we want everything to be explained fully. So that's what this is all about, transparency.
For sure, for sure. And before I get off here, Jordan, thanks for having me. Like I said, everyone, 7 p.m. Monday, every Monday. Make sure you tune in. Also follow me, Man Down Kennels on IG, and Man Down _ Boerboels on Facebook.
Oh yeah. Yeah, check out this man right here, he seems to have the luck of the draw. Every single time he comes up with a dog, it's something that's special. So I feel like he knows what he's just got an eye for a good dog. He's transitioned his success into bullies. He started out with the shepherds. He had great success with shepherds, and then he's got a phenomenal puppy on the way up. He's going to position to do some serious damage in the Boerboel game. And really, well, then when we say damage, we don't mean in a bad way. We're talking about contributing in a positive way. So yeah, and y'all know me, how to find me. My line is always open. Family, hit me up anytime. I'm here for y'all. We're going to continue to work on this, develop this process, refine this process, and make it more inclusive as we possibly can. In the meantime, in between time, check out the United Boerboel Club website. Check out all of the videos and stuff on our social media platforms. We're here for you, board buddies. We're here for you. We coming through. Like we said, we're going to do. We do everything that we said we're going to do. And we're going to take our time with this. We're going to perfect it. We're going to make it something that's extremely valuable, because at the end of the day, it's about promoting the breed, doing the best that we can for these dogs that we love.
That's for sure. That's it.
All right, signing off, y'all. We'll be back. Hey, look, stay tuned for more inclusive episodes. We're going to be making announcements on our Facebook, on our various social media platforms. And it's like at the end of the day, it's about you. If you got anything, if you got any news, you got any suggestions, let us know. Our DMs is open. Text message, the whole nine. We available. We here. We get back with you. We available for you.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, yeah. Everybody have a blessed evening. Thank you for joining, y'all. We appreciate y'all. Until next time, board buddies.
No rush, go on, move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you got a deal run up. No rush, go on, move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove.